Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are on K2Born. I'm Tanguy Jacopin. We are on the strategy series, and the topic of the day, really interesting for those who are entrepreneur, eager to know some new series. We are talking on the customer iterative process or lean startup. It's a concept that was based on Blank, and it's really interesting because most of the time you will see that student business school entrepreneurs they receive the information. Hey, you need to make a business plan. No, it doesn't work like that. What you need to do is you need to go to this process. You need to try to adapt yourself, try to launch it, try to see if there's a feedback from the customer, and you will see how it works. Okay, so let's move in and you'll see the suggestion. First, and these are the premises of the framework. Business plan do work from a multinational corporation or let's say consolidated companies, but there are no chance, or you're extremely lucky if you got such a success with your startup. Basically, for one reason, it's not customer oriented, the business plan. Business plan is just to see if you're going to have some profit based on some hypothesis, but customer doesn't get in. So this is the reason why it's really important that when we evoke this type of issues, to try to see what exists. And in that sense, I recommend you to go on Osterwalder and Pinier canvas, how to generate business models. There's an anytime video on this as well, and you will see that it was much better. You can work in a holistic perspective, and you see what happened. Okay, so what is it? Here we've got the framework. So what you can see is that on on the back you've got the bottom line, cost structure on one end, and revenue stream on the other end. The major box among the 9 boxes that this framework has is a value proposition. On one end, you need obviously to have some allied with your partners. You need to make some activities, and you need to have some resources to go through it. And on the other end, just to generate your streams, your income, well, you need to have some customers. You need to be able to relate your company with your customer, and there need to be something special. You need to sell something special in order to create some customer loyalty, to attract new customer, to make a switch among your customer. So this is really great because, as explained in the other anytime video dedicated exclusively to this one, you can work in an iterative process. Why? Because you can see what are your proposal, how you change your hypothesis, what does it bring, and you can come back to it afterwards. Okay, so it's really important because this paves the way to the lean startup process. And why? Because you need to make some hypothesis or guess. It's up to you. I say, well, I think that I've got a suitable product service that can generate value, and basically customer will enjoy it for alpha, beta, and omega. You test it on the market because you're not going to spend years designing it. Well, if there's no other option, maybe you will be forced to. But most of the time, you try to go as fast as possible on the go-to market. You will check out different hypotheses through the business model canvas. You check these hypotheses, and by testing them, you revise them all the time. And why will it be iterative? Because basically you will have the feedback of the customer, you change the hypothesis based on what they tell you, and you adapt it until you reach the MVP. I guess you've heard about this, the minimum viable product. As soon as you get this one, I say, chapeau. and you got it. So here, how does it work? Well, basically, you've got two major stages. One is linked with the search, and then when it's about the execution. Okay, so when you search, you say, "Hey, I'm giving you a customer what you think about it." Then customer validate or not, gives the feedback, and then you need to change again. You go back and move again, and so on. As soon as it works, you can say, "Hey, you will have your customer creation, and if customer repeat, you will go here, and you will be able to generate an always bigger company." And here the company will become always bigger, and the customer will buy always more if everything's perfect. Now, if at a certain point things are not going well, you go back here, and because the customer is buying always less, or is no more buying, or the life of the cycle of the buying issues is going always less. So you need to recreate something that attract your customer. Okay, so this is something that is really important, because you will either stick or you will have to pivot, okay, to change. So this is something that if you are able to apply it to your company, it's extremely good. So this is the reason why if you use some post-it, if you are really easygoing, you don't pay too much attention to some issues, you can really make some fast improvement. So you say, yeah, but it's really nice when you're talking about it at theoretical level, but how do I contrast it from really touchdown process? Well, pretty simple. Just to show you, here you've got the key metrics, how it works, and here you comparing the two models. So here, strategy, business model, business plan. It's hypothesis driven. Here it's about implementation. Here you need to change the hypothesis. You need to look at it. So in terms of new product development, you'll see that it will move all around, and you change, it move back. Meanwhile, here it's about linear product management. It just, it's short, boom, 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 you generate. If you can say, if you're the pharmaceutical industry, you've got the research, you've got stage 1, stage 2, you've got the approval of the FDA, you move in, you generate, boom, and that's it. You've got to go to market, marketing, you sell it, it's confirmed, and then it works. The unique issue right now is that for the pharmaceutical industry, for instance, is that basically the license to operate of the pharmaceutical industry has been questioned. It means that the fact that they've got so many years to get profit has been questioned. In that sense, there's a huge pressure from society to say these companies shouldn't be helped as much as they've been in the last decades. In that sense, pharmaceutical companies have realized it, and what happened is that they do the primary test, and they don't make so many secondary tests as they used to before. This is the reason why you got, I'm not saying accident, but I think you understand what I mean. Okay, obviously I won't give an example of this, but it's really interesting to look at it. Now, you will say, this is a generic linear product management. It's a big pharmaceutical company. When we're talking about something that will be iterative, it will be a typical small pharma. They think that the big pharma say, hey, we can't make a blockbuster with it. They will work on it, and they will try to adapt it and see if it fits, if it can fit for a small companies that has far less fixed cost and overheads, generally speaking. So it's a good point. Here you will see, in terms of metrics, it will be completely different. Obviously, here income statement, cash flow, balance sheet, typical issues. Here it's different. It's about customer acquisition, lifetime value, customer value, churn, viralness, how do they stay, how long they spend on my website, and so on. So obviously, here you're not forced to go so fast, and it's based on full data. Here it's about uncertainty, and here it's accepted. You will have some companies say, no, we don't want to do it. We don't have to have failure. We can only innovate if we are sure to make it. And this is something that you need to pay lots of attention to. On the other end, and here this is something that you should pay attention to, it's expected that you fail, and you will fail several times before you find out the, well, let's say the paradise. Meanwhile, you will be able to design, first you have a good fit between the customer and yourself. Okay, so this is generally speaking. Why do I say that? I say it because you've got always more big companies that are managed as startup. For instance, if you look at the Inditex group, where they've got many egg watcher in the world, what happened is for instance, if imagine I'm an egg watcher, I see someone in the street, I make a pitch, they send the pitch to Artesio, which is the head office of Natura, no, sorry, of Inditex. They look at it, they can design it and make it available to the public anywhere in the world in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And if it doesn't work, they've got a logistics system, they can change it. If it fails, no problem, they can recycle it. So you can see that the top multinational companies have already obviously incorporated the lean startup concept as well. And because they've got, let's say, a much deeper pocket, I would say that they should be the main benefiter of this trend. Okay, so look at it. First, I was talking to you about entrepreneurship, and at the end, we are talking about entrepreneurship into big companies, and we're talking here about higher return on investment for the big, for the blue chip instead of for the small company. Isn't it interesting? This is a fascinating century. So when we're talking about 20th century, we're talking about formalizing execution, going on efficiency. Well, basically, it's the after of World War II. What happened is that many of the concepts of strategies came from the U.S. Army. And this is the reason why it's execution efficiency. And now it's about making success startup and just generalize all this process to all the companies. Okay, so this is the reason why focusing on the customer iterative process will definitely serve you, be it in your MNC, a multinational corporation, or in your new project of entrepreneurship. Okay, hope you you enjoy this issue, and hope to see you soon in Quai to Born. It was Tanguy Jacobin. Have a nice day. Ciao.